वैराग्य विद्या निज भक्ति योगा शिक्षार्थमेक पुरुष पुराना श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य शरीरधारी कृपां बुद्धिय तमहं प्रपद्ये। मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुदिनतारिणं। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna. Kindly bless us in the study of Srimad Bhagavatam again and again with somewhat sincerity and humility. We pray that I become the first listener of the message of Mahaprabhu, of the teachings of Srila Rupa Goswami, of the teachings of Srimad Bhagavatam. One day by your blessings I can be situated in a manner desirable to Srila Prabhupada, Srila Rupa Goswami, our Acharya, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in the service of Guru and Bhagavan. The Srimad Bhagavatam is a Prem Bhakti Prasut, Prem Bhakti Uddhar Updesh, speaks of the origin of love and helps us understand how to be in a loving relationship and how to take instructions lovingly. These instructions to bond us into and the relationship of eternal love with Lord Shri Krishna. One of the biggest impediments in our advancement in Krishna consciousness is a sense of high self-appraisal. Very big impediment blockage in our advancement in Krishna consciousness. Prahlad Maharaj did not have any such any such sense of high self-appraisal. Srila Prabhupada had no sense of any such like high self-appraisal. Hiranyakashipu definitely had a very high sense of his high self-appraisal. That I am the supreme controller, I am the knower, this is how it should be. And he was very fanatic. He was the epitome of fanatism, he was the epitome of controlling, he was the epitome of nastiness. And even like hearing his personality, Hiranyakashipu, even words fail to describe how, say, notorious he was. But we should always remember, like, then personalities, Hiranyakashipu, Prahlad Maharaj, Hiranyakashipu, and say, Dhritarashtra, Ravana, and all. Like Hiranyakashipu specifically, we know, Ravana, we know, they are eternal associates of the Lord. They are perfectly playing the role in the past tense of the Lord. They are perfectly bringing that variety and joy to Krishna by playing that role, enacting that role in the past tense. And such is the role of actually Yogmaya that even Hiranyakashipu does not know that he is playing a role. He doesn't take like, okay, whatever I'm doing, it is sanctioned, it is allowed. Uh, he's naturally in his, say, Hiranyakashipu consciousness. But for a sadhaka like me, I should not take this as such any close liberty as such. Oh, Hiranyakashipu, he was too off the grid, say, or Dhritarashtra, they were off track and all. You know. So what we see is like he had a very high sense of self-appraisal, Hiranyakashipu. And Prahlad, he had a very high sense of Krishna appraisal. Hmm. He had a very high sense of dependency on Krishna, ultimate shelter on Krishna. And he was throughout remembering the glories of Krishna, the sweetness of Krishna, and the beauty of Krishna, and what he had heard from his spiritual master. So much of chaos was inflicted upon him, but Prahlad did not get any chaos. Like we see from the life of Prahlad Maharaj, what? Utsahat Nishchahat Dhairyat. He is an embodiment of all of this. Enthusiasm. He had such a vigor and enthusiasm amidst such chaos, unimaginable chaos, and Prahlad was continuing to preach. He was still preaching. That shows his character, right? That shows what a personality Prahlad was. He had all the options available in life. All the doors were available, open for him to back out, mm, to maybe leave the house, or to take the sides of the teacher Sanjay Namarka or Hiranyakashipu. No, but he had firm faith in the scriptures. He had firm faith in the words of his spiritual master. As we see during this pastime, uh, somewhere his classmates asked him, "From where do you speak this? How do you get this knowledge? Are you like one from which secret mission are you? What is going on, sir?" But for Prahlad Maharaj, it's like I'm just repeating what I've heard and I'm just seeing it live experience. Well, one thing is we hearing, okay, yes, like this particular translation as well. Someone hearing it may find it, oh, is it too over the top or is it like a bit of an exaggeration? But nothing is exaggeration in Srimad Bhagavatam. One can see it. And again, one need not experience everything. That, okay, once I get into such a materialistic life of heavy, uncontrolled desires and strong attachment, then I can maybe learn out of it and I can experience ourselves. No, this is not the message of Shastras. This is not how we learn. Real learning is when we listen and we follow with faith. Hmm. We put that faith into practice, we listen and we follow. So, Prahlad Maharaj, he did not complain, rather he was compliant to the teachings of his spiritual master. He was compliant to the message of the Shastras, to the message of the Vedas, to the message of Srimad Bhagavatam. He was compliant to remembering Lord Sri Krishna. And a sadhaka's attitude should be, if we really want to develop attachment, if we really want to see, Mahaprabhu has given us this teachings, right? Ultimate teaching, Srinadapi Sunitena Tarorapi Sahismina. Amanina Mandina Kirtanya Sadahari. And on our part, now we have been so blessed to be in this divine transcendental association of devotees. We need to actually make this a reality. We need to glorify this. We need to make this happen. And Prahlad, he took this as an opportunity to be really tolerant, to be really humble, and not complaining. If we really want to go into a space, go into a zone wherein we enter a trance, wherein we enter a situation wherein we are continuously doing Kirtanya Sadahari, wherein we are throughout chanting, remembering, glorifying Krishna, then we have to come out of a complaint zone. And Krishna, he's too difficult to handle. So one has to actually give up complaint zone. And if one gives up this complaining attitude, then one can see the sweetness of Krishna, the beauty of Krishna altogether. Prahlad, he did not have a sense of any self-appraisal, self-appreciation, how good am I, how good have I been doing, or any of such things. And for us as well, introspection is good thing, but when that introspection leads to a sense of self-appraisal, that yes, I've been doing this much good for these many years, I've come a long way, and I've distributed this many books, raised this many funds, made these many cookies for the temple and all. So we could easily be distracting ourselves. What is an advancement in Krishna consciousness? To literally realize that I've come a long way, or to realize that how far off am I still from Krishna? How long is still the route? In English, there is a saying, I don't know how common popular it is. They say there is many a slip between the cup and the lip. There's many a slip between the cup and the lip. And I find it quite appropriate in our practice of Krishna consciousness. how much kind of say the cup and me drinking the cup say of herbal tea, how much distance as such, not much, but there's many a slip between the cup and the lip. Likewise, for me to advance in Krishna consciousness, how long does it take? It doesn't take any longer. It shouldn't take any long. It need not take any long. But there's so many distractions, so many distractions. Yeah. And this Krishna consciousness life, we need to learn how to free ourselves from any distractions in life, how to navigate. First and foremost, we must be very clear of our destination, what we are up to, the purpose of our practicing Krishna consciousness, what do we want. Yeah. Prahlad Maharaj realized this, as many a slip between the cup and the lip. Although he was in continuous remembrance, but he never lost his focus. So much of turbulence, chaos was coming. He never lost his focus. Yeah. And if I think that I am a sadhaka, then I should protect my focus, I should protect my vision. If I lose sight of the destination, if I lose sight of the goal, if I lose sight of the focus and the vision, then I'm not actually kind of understanding the mood and the message of Mahaprabhu. All of us have been definitely blessed. We cannot deny that we have not been blessed or we are not blessed. We are definitely blessed, tremendously blessed rather. And now is a journey to make ourselves fully blessed, become completely fully blessed. And how do we become fully blessed? By keeping that focus, by keeping that mood. So Prahlad, he continued with enthusiasm amidst chaos to preach. He was very confident of the message of the scripture. There was no doubt in his faith, there was no lacking in his faith. And he was patient as well. He rests the case in the hands of the Lord. He was well aware of the situation, what he has been going through, what is coming through, and he rests the case completely in the hands of the Lord. Very patient. In Krishna consciousness, we have to be patient. Uh, we we can we can never afford to be impatient. Like actually, jokingly, we say sometimes we receive some volunteers in the Karuna Bhavan temple, right? We receive volunteers. Now, imagine some volunteers come and and he says, okay, you guys are Hare Krishna, right? You love Hare Krishna and you do some programs and classes and this, right? You practice spiritual life. Okay, teach me how to be patient. I come here, teach me how to be patient. I want to learn patience. Can you give me a seminar? Can you give me a presentation? Can you give me show me some points and make me patient like that? But it doesn't come like that. And some devotee may ask, okay, so can you wash pots? No, I've not come here to wash pots. I've come here to be patient. Can you teach me patience? First, teach me how to be patient. Second, wash pots later on. Okay, can you clean up after the prasadam hall, please? No, I learned. This is spirituality. I thought you are a spiritual person. I thought you live in a temple. I thought you teach this how to be patient. Why are you asking me to clean after prasadam hall? Why are you asking me to wash the pots? No, I want to be zen, you know. I want to be peace. I want to be calmful. I want to be patient. Once I become patient, then I will wash the pots and everything. It doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that. So Prahlad Maharaj, he was truly patient and full of enthusiasm, full of confidence. And he was desperate to see Krishna. He was completely desperate to see Krishna. He was seeing Krishna, whatever was happening in his life, he was seeing it as the hand of Krishna, as the plan of Krishna, as the will of Krishna to help him come closer to him. But he was never restless. He was never restless. There's a huge difference between desperation and restlessness. He was desperate to see Krishna, to serve Krishna, but he was not at all restless. Restless is a sign of, again, lack of faith or Restless is a sign of someone who is self-centered. Restlessness. Why am I not getting this benefit? Why am I not getting this darshan or why am I not getting all the praise and things and all? Or uh, why am I not getting Krishna in my life? See, in society, we come across so many problems, but if we can see what is our biggest problem in life, I feel in society one of our biggest problems in life is we do not even know what is the center of my problem. Sometimes this is a problem, sometimes that is a problem, and sometimes it becomes so problematic to find out actually what is my problem. It becomes very problematic to find out. And the mother of all our problems or our only problem or root cause of our problem is this what? Self-obsession. Self-obsession. That I'm a better devotee, I'm an advanced devotee, good devotee, uh, I can give class, I give classes. So much so, I mean, it can be very ironical or too lethal if someone considers himself to be liberated. I'm a liberated soul. If one in one's heart actually, yes, I'm a liberated soul, I admit it. And then if one speaks out, wow, that's taking things way too far. So Prahlad, he was not at all self-obsessed. He was not at all self-obsessed. He was not going through any of these problems. And he took this ownership, he took this responsibility, ownership, and this service attitude. Na? Even amidst chaos, he was preaching to his classmates, who were all from demoniac families actually, and who were all more nicely trained in the teachings of Hiranyakashipu. And as it says, like Vaishnava is who is a Vaishnava? Vaishnava is one who is para dukkha dukhi. Prahlad was never disturbed or upset because of the troubles he had to go through. He was more disturbed and troubled, or he was disturbed and troubled because of the hardships others, his schoolmates, had to go through. Shri Khoranka Mayapur Sashi ki. Prahlad was disturbed that uh, seeing the entanglement of others. And even in that sense, seeing the entanglement of others, he was never personal. He was never as such personal at them that, okay, making any personal sort of remarks to them or telling them that I am better or personally you are wrong or you have mistakes, that sort of thing. No. He was never judgmental towards his father, towards his teachers, towards his schoolmates. Uh, He was not judgmental, he was not critical as well. I don't know, like critical in the sense he was not. He was completely beyond right and wrong. Actually, Prahlad Maharaj. He was not. Although he was stating that this is not right, this is wrong, and this is right, but in his consciousness he was beyond this duality of right and wrong, and this is why his preaching was so effective. We also have to preach effectively the way Prabhupada desires. We have to come out of this duality of right and wrong. Then only we can deal with our guests, our audience, uh, in a proper Krishna conscious way. So, and human life is valuable. How much time we have is very valuable, extremely valuable. We all are not. Uh, we all are getting closer to that state. All of us are getting closer to that. And see, someone in 20s has a consciousness of 20-year-old, someone in 30s, someone in 40s. Many of my family members, and this is not just, this is around the globe, no? In their 60s, in their 50s, what a consciousness level in their 60s. Many of my family members, ladies, females say in my family, wider and closer family, in the 60s plus, but where is the consciousness? It's in sari or jewelry. Heavily sari or jewelry. And many of my, again, family members in their 60s, where is this consciousness? Money, politics. That as people grow up, there's this thing as well. Naturally, like, feel like, okay, I should be respected, or I should be given that respect. He did not tell me, he did not ask me. I should have been informed. They did not inform me. All such things come about. So one day, maybe I could well be touching 50, I could maybe touching 60. Now it is for me to work out where would I want to see myself. If I touch 60, what would be my consciousness level say? How would I want to shape up my life? Where do I want to see myself? Very important, very critical. And the time has to come wherein more and more deep engagement in bhajan, more and more deep engagement in sadhana, more and more deep engagement in the service of Guru and Guru. A mood has to be built up all together. Prahlad, he was not living in this complaining attitude. Although being abused, he was not experiencing the abuse. He did not say that, my father, you are wrong, or this wrong to me. Although he said, like, father, what you are doing is wrong. But he was completely speaking from the platform of beyond duality. He was loyal and chaste to the message of Bhagavatam. And us living in Karuna Bhavan, we have to be loyal and chaste to our deity. Whatever we do, deity should be at the center, should it not? For the pleasure of Guru and Gaurang, for the pleasure of Sri Parantai Mayapur, we should be acting and living so. And we should be molding ourselves like that. And I'm sure us coming in Krishna consciousness, in our practice of Krishna consciousness, all of us would have come a stage by now wherein in some moments, in some glimpses, we have been so touched by the message of Krishna consciousness. It could be through Kirtan, it could be through Japa, it could be through listening a class, through reading, or through some Janmashtami services in Janmashtami, whichever way, but we would have been very much taken over, and we would have told ourselves, I'm sure we would have said to ourselves, yes, this life I want to dedicate myself to you. This life I would want to become a pure devotee of Krishna. We all would have come to such sort of experience, we would have said this. And now it is this thing, if we can remember that and continue ourselves in the journey of Krishna consciousness. There's this British movie, no? What does it say? Uh, Carry on, Sergeant. Keep calm and carry on. But isn't there a movie called Carry On Sergeant or Carry On Nurse? I, there's some series, right? I don't know if it's a sitcom or movie. Carry On Sergeant, Carry On Nurse, or Keep Calm. Now, society also speaks like this, okay, carry on, or good things. But there's a slight catch, or maybe a big catch. For us to carry on in Krishna consciousness, okay, whatever is going on in our personal life. But our carrying on in Krishna consciousness has to be a different mode altogether. Our carrying on in Krishna consciousness is to attain the spiritual world, is to attain the eternal kingdom. And that also not for my personal joy. Okay, yes, if I attain the spiritual world, then okay, I just rid of birth at old age degree. No more going to school, no more applying for jobs, no more looking for an interview, no more of those hassles and all. No, that can never be our motivation. Our motivation living in this life, we have to live our lives purely to bring joy to Guru and Bhagavan. That should be the motivation. And we have to extend this in practice, in action. And when this becomes our wholesome consciousness, a mood comes about, then naturally our entrance into the spiritual land, into the eternal land has become natural. So ours is not just like keep calm and carry on, or you know, ours is a different level of keep calm and chant Hare Krishna. But we are aiming for the eternal run, eternal engagement. That's it. And such a huge responsibility. For someone who is a preacher, it's a big responsibility. Every devotee carries responsibility. It's a big responsibility, individually and collectively as well. Say, and this someone as a temple president, big responsibility. And a temple president has to see that okay, it's not just an individual journey. He's taking the temple together. So that decision making, that he's working or catering for the needs of uh, so many devotees at the same time. And these needs is not material needs, like this is completely spiritual, looking into the spiritual advancement, into the spiritual needs, that what will help the sadhaka grow in Krishna consciousness. Not a this short vision, you know, and those temple presidents, such heavy responsibility they carry, and it's like in a way it is like the life of a sannyasi, or in terms of surrender, in terms of dedication. You cannot be just a bit idle or a bit lazy and take on like that, you know. And personally, again, I feel very blessed to be in Karuna Bhavan, amongst devotees, and some devotee like Panchatattva Prabhu. I had the opportunity to have some very good time with him. And he once mentioned me, he was with Karuna Bhavan devotees making Festival of Colors program or some program, and festival, and he was 2 days with our temple president doing some services, and he later on in the evening he told me in the ashram, I clearly remember, he said, wow, he's such a personality, you cannot work out what varna does it happen. Vyaprastha or Vanaprastha or what varna does it happen. Such attitude, no? And it is not something like a post we take on our this thing. It's not a post of a privilege in the sense, okay, yes, I'm very privileged, or uh, in the sense like this is an honorary thing. It is completely out of service. One sees it matter. Okay, on this note, maybe I'll take a pause if there are any questions, comments, clarifications, or corrections. Yes, yes.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Just had couple of questions. We see in like purport in this chapter how Prabhupada is mentioning we have only 100 years, and in the sixth verse Prahlad Maharaj also mentions we have 100 years to live. But the pastimes of Prahlad Maharaj that time was Sati Yuga. Isn't that like people were living hundreds of thousands of years at that time? Hiranyakashipu was like hundreds of thousands of years old, and naturally it was people was living in thousands of years.
Mm. The lifetime in different ages is relative. Uh, in Satyuga, Kali Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapar Yuga, this material world is a world of relativity. What is happening in Brahmaloka and what is happening here, complete relative. Uh, Brahma Magnam, na? Those who are situated in Brahma Magnam, as in this impersonal meditation, and also the pleasure also they derive is completely relative. And us, born in this human form of life in this earthly planet, practicing Krishna consciousness, the joy we get is like, and the joy someone getting in even in Brahmaloka or say or in impersonal meditation is a drop in the ocean or not even a proper drop in the ocean. So, yeah. So the different ages are have relative lifespans. Different planets have different lifespans and all, but still the principle or the message remain the same. In 100,000 age, so that tapasya also what they do is a longer duration of tapasya and 100 years age as well. And what we see like first 10, 20 years wasted or say not utilized properly, like growing up and all, and last 20 years again not utilized properly, and whatever is between is a life of deep responsibility. So even like say 100,000 years, still it is a life of huge responsibility. And so much so, again, there's a many a slip between the cup and the lip. So one could have been very cautious for a majority of his life, like Bharat Maharaj. So much cautious for the majority of life, retired and everything, but he lost focus towards the end. Towards the end, he lost focus, and then he had to again return. Say he couldn't perfect his life, that very lifetime. Say. So, 100 years or 100,000 years is it is fine, but thing is having a momentary focus or every moment sort of focus, building on that focus to keep up our focus as such. Now, the life of Brahma is also 100 years, but when we calculate in our earthly calculation, it becomes slightly more than 100 years. It becomes a few hundred years. But likewise, 100,000 or this, you see the life of an ant as well, or the life of a human being. So sometimes these stats or these numbers, they are relative numbers as well, and cannot be easy to interpret or easy to take it on. But in principle or in message, it remains the same. That based on whatever age, hmm, whatever lifespan we have been given, is a fair enough lifespan for us to advance and perfect our Krishna consciousness. Does this answer your question?
Just one more question. Yeah. So you were saying that one should not think, okay, I'm liberated now. Like you were saying something on those lines. So just a question, not for of course myself, but in general. So somebody we see, taking sannyas and starts accepting disciple. So if one doesn't come to this realization, okay, now I'm liberated, how can he, start taking up? Because we see that our Guru Maharaj or our spiritual master, he's there, he's liberated, and we take his shelter. So how can then that personality come into this understanding that okay, I can start taking disciples
Thank you,
now?
Bharti. Nice question. In Krishna consciousness, we are left with only one choice to love and serve Krishna. We have only one business in Krishna consciousness, which is what we are a businessman, right? We have only one business in Krishna consciousness, which is what? We have only one business in Krishna consciousness to mind our own business. So, for us, every other devotee is a senior devotee, especially living in a community. Every other devotee is a senior devotee. So, and what we speak of stalwart devotees, those who are actually spiritual masters, we have to see them in that light. See, in this life itself, if we cannot see a single person as a Krishna conscious, evolved Krishna consciousness, as a Paramahansa in life, what confidence will we get to Krishna if we are put up in the spiritual world? Imagine for a drama as well, one day if we are let into the spiritual world, can we sustain? You know, many times we say, oh, Guru Maharaj teach us Krishna prem, Guru Maharaj give us Krishna prem. There's no stopping Guru Maharaj is giving, but are we ready to take that Krishna prem? Can we handle that? It's way more shock than a 440 volt current. We won't be able to handle it. So we need to grow, we need to prepare. This reminds me of one thing. Once we were in Bhaktivedanta Manor, Guru Maharaj was in Manor. He was visiting on his way to America. So we were in the reception area in Manor and going through some books or something. And some devotee, some gentle devotee, he came to Guru Maharaj and he maybe offered flowers or something. And he was speaking and he said like, I've been serving in Manor for 40 years. I'm a lifetime member, serving for 40 years. I brought my neighbors as well. And very nice boy. And he was saying, to tell you something, Maharaj, tell you something, Swamiji, I have seen there is no pure devotee in ISKCON now. There is no pure devotee in ISKCON now. So, Maharaj, you know what he replied, Maharaj? Who is stopping you from becoming a pure devotee? If it is really troubling you so much, if you are really so much that, okay, Prabhupada gave us so much, and then there is no one a pure devotee and all, then who is stopping you from becoming a pure devotee? You become that pure devotee. You show that light, huh? And one should not say like this, there is no pure devotee. Saying like this is like when you don't have a pure vision to actually see a pure devotee. Have you got that pure vision to see a pure devotee? Pure devotees are saying the very fact that sun is rising, don't check and check less news, but the very fact that sun is rising in English and not sun, the sun is rising in this earthly planet, the moon is also coming, we get flowers and all. Pure devotees, we need to have that vision to see. So, to your question, it is for me only to introspect and see that yes, I'm not liberated. But others, we don't have to mind their business, etc. We have to mind our own business only. And no one becomes a guru. No one becomes a guru. One has to become a disciple only. Whom does Krishna accept? A guru or a disciple? All of us practicing Krishna consciousness, we are to be accepted by Krishna, right? Whom does Krishna accept? Will he ever accept a guru? No, he will always accept a disciple only. So Arjuna said, na Sishyasya Hamsadimam Swam Prasanam, that opened the doors of attaining Krishna for him. Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada Maharaj had said, one who considers himself to be a guru is a guru, is a person in sheer ignorance. So it is not again taking the post of temple president or these posts, na, sannyas or that initiating guru. And they don't see that it is like, okay, fine, I get to relish now, I get to enjoy now. No? It is not at all a post of privilege or in that sense. It's a post of complete commitment. And when we grow in our consciousness, humility will arise. Humility will arise. And it is all for service, for the mission of Guru and Dharma, for the mission of Mahaprabhu, Prabhupada. Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Maharaj himself said na, that he had one devotee, disciple perhaps, or a devotee who used to come to the ashram. And every time he used to come, he was like, this is wrong, that is wrong, very critical minded. And when he passed away, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Maharaj was literally crying. He was crying that, oh, he was my only well-wisher, and I have lost his association now. Who is going to correct me now? So it's a different mood altogether.
That's the hard bit. We want to be patient. Be patient
There's nothing like, only in society we say instant coffee, instant pizza, or in England, in UK, we cannot actually say instant ambulance, something. But see, instantly we get shock only. Like, see, sometimes we get happiness and sometimes we get some shocking news. Now, when we hear a happy news, how much happy does it make us? how much instantly happy do we feel out of it? But if we hear a shocking news, it instantly makes us so shocked. It instantly makes us so depressed. The way we live our life nowadays, especially with this virtual reality, with this internet usage and all, we are so we have exposed to ourselves to so much of validation, so much of sense of self-appraisal and all, that if we are not instantly gratified, if we are not instantly, what is the word say, recognized, say, we feel very low. So they say, na, how to keep good relationships, say husband and wife, okay, tell yourself I love you maybe 6 times a day, 7 times a day and all, just to keep on. So we are not after like instant thing. Instant is not a good attitude for a father. It gradually build a more wherein we naturally enter into transcendence. Dhruva Maharaj entered naturally. Prahlad Maharaj, Parikshit Maharaj naturally. So when we follow their lead, na, then we go into Radha. Thank you very much for your patient listening and listening. Yes, sir.
Just when you were speaking about devoted, the manner, so there's no pure devotees in this one. And then there's one conversation between one Indian man and Prabhupada. Remember rightly, it was on the train. Prabhupada was answering this man's question. He says that actually, I've looked and there's no pure devotee to be found. Krishna says you should find a pure devotee to surrender to him. And then he says, I cannot find one. And Prabhupada said, so what is a pure devotee? He couldn't answer. And he says, if you do not know what is a pure devotee, then how can you find one? He says, actually, there are many pure devotees, but because you don't want to surrender, then you cannot find them. But one's looking and Krishna goes to
The tainted mundane vision we can never understand, and it is actually an individual's prerogative. Everything is given to us. Now it is up to an individual how much he wants to perfect his life. महापुराण की पतित पावन श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय गौर प्रेमानंद।
His Grace Ananda Vigraha Prabhu ki